Okay, a day in the life of a beach club VA. I made a little list, so I'm gonna just kind of wing it here. But this is what a typical day would be. First thing in the morning, your time. Um, Check your Dropbox file, and hopefully you will see a bunch of new files that came in, photos taken from the previous day, and that's kind of when you get an idea of what your workload is going to be like for the day. Sometimes it'll be only a few photos. Sometimes it won't be any. Maybe it was raining or something. Maybe we didn't shoot that day, and then we'll have something else for you to do if that's the case. Um, but essentially, check Dropbox, and step two is organize. Organize, 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 organize. Always be organized. Be finding better ways to be organized, because we are not. Our system, the only way we could be even done this way, especially with me, is if we have VAs who can organize for us. So organization is the most important thing we look for when we are hiring and continuing to work with VAs. When I say organize, what I mean by that is, like I said, there's two different types of photos. There's single exposures and there's bracketed exposures. You can see them very quickly, so you need to immediately find the ones that you need to batch, the bracketed photos that you need to batch through Photomatix. Get those processing. It only takes about an hour at the most. So before you go get your coffee or something in the morning, get the photos batching, and then when they're done, you move those, all of them, all the photos, I would just pull them into Lightroom. All the photos they're slated, remember, with these little slates. So when you pull them into Lightroom, let me pull it up here. If you go into the library module, you'll be able to see all the thumbnails, and you'll be able to pick out the slates. There's one right there. This isn't the best example that I was working on, but hopefully you get my drift. So that's when you can start, organizing them however you want. You can use colors. A lot of times, let's say if there's like 100 photos that you've got to pull into Lightroom, that means that's probably about 20 businesses, so because we average about 5 photos per business, so you want to and they're random ones. A photographer, he just walks down a street shooting photos of places. He puts a slate in between each set, so but just know if you've got 100 photos, that means that's like 20 different businesses, and when you export them, they need to all be together. They have to be all together. That is the key. Into a subfolder labeled by the category and by the name of the place, because we're building this photo database, and the photo database, that is the value of our company. It's the essence of our app. It's what Google is going to buy for millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars one day, and hopefully you'll be a part of it. But our photo database is the key to all this. So yeah, you export them out of Lightroom after you've edited them, made them pretty as good as you can be. Don't spend too much. Edit them. The better, the more you do, the better. But you've got 8 hours to process the stuff from the day before. So if you want to take an extra hour and really make them awesome, that's great. But we care more about them getting processed from the day before, way more than doing sky replacements or whatever extra things. So whether you have 100 or you have 10,000 photos, technically it shouldn't take much longer, because you can batch them, you can use presets, you can use Photoshop actions, whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with. But the bottom line is it has to be organized. That is the key. All right, so after you export them, they need to go into our photo database, into the respective categories. Like the restaurants need to go in the restaurants categories. And then the final thing is loading them to the Beach Club server. And that is you are publishing to our server. We're a lot like Yelp or Google. Google's a better example maybe. if you go in Google Maps and search for something, every business has a profile. That's the way our app works. I mean, you're loading this business, so you really are. You're a very important part of this creative process. You kind of control how the world is going to see this business, and that's we. What sets Beach Club apart from Yelp or Google or some of these other platforms is, we're photographers, and it's very highly curated content. So you got to think of yourself as like the art director of Beach Club. We're going to oversee it and go through it. It's not 100% your responsibility from the beginning, but the more you can do, and I think that's where you can find your own creative touch and put your own stamp, put your own mark on these things by choosing which photos go where, choosing which photo is the main photo that shows up first, maybe adding some graphics or some titles over time. But you got to remember, it's quantity over quality. You're going to be loading lots of photos. It's all photos. And then once we add the photos in and the business name, then we can start adding the description and their website link and all that stuff, and it'll slowly but surely become the Yelp or the Google of the beach resort industry. But for starters, you just got to organize our photos. And then the final thing is do your daily report. That's probably just going to be in an email to us. We're pretty casual about that. I mean, but we just want to know. I mainly, when I say we, it's me. I just want to know what you did that day, how many you got loaded in. Maybe you could do like a spreadsheet or something, and we'll get something like that going, Google Sheet. But just make sure you do that every day, and log your hours and all that. And I mean, over time, this can be. It doesn't have to take you more than 2 or 3 hours, and then we can probably find if you can nail this first task we give you down daily, then we'll have some bigger projects for you, like marketing or social media or who knows what, that you can spend the rest of your time doing that we'll happily pay for, and then that's how you can make more money and get more hours. And I mean, I love handing out raises. I love paying people more and more and more. But first things first, we've got to figure out how to, we figured out, you've got to figure out how you can process these photos really fast. Make sure you got Dropbox working. Make sure you have a big hard drive. Make sure you have a really fast internet connection. Doesn't have to be crazy fast, but the faster the better, because these files are going to Dropbox. You've got to process them, and then you got to get them back into our server. So the faster the internet you have, the better. All right, that's it.